Elite Dangerous News.
All right, that takes us to our Elite Dangerous discussion topics. We got 2 of them this week. All right, first off, Frontier Developments are saying that with patch 7 planned for sometime in September, they will be increasing bookmark and module storage to 200 each. They claim that while they'd like to increase this further, that they cannot, as it, quote, is a server limitation, end quote. They further state that this upgrade will be for Elite Dangerous Odyssey only and not for Elite Dangerous Horizons. 2 points. First, I call bullshit on the number being a server limitation unless their servers are even more of a goat rope than we already know them to be. Because, like, what? How? What? You can only allow 200 bookmarks. Because on Internet Explorer back in 1991, I could create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bookmarks and organize however many I wanted in all of the folders that I want. And are you telling me you don't have the tech that they had in Internet Explorer in 1991? Okay. Point 2 on their whole upgrade limitations of 200 on each, and they say they're going to introduce it to Odyssey only and not Horizons. How the hell do you plan to implement an increase of bookmarks and module storage in Elite Dangerous Odyssey but not Horizons when you're currently telling your player base that if they wish to play with their Horizons friends, they should log out of Odyssey mode and into Horizons? This implementation seems like it was designed by a 5-year-old. Prove me wrong. Let's start with Astro.
Yeah, so regarding the bookmarks, I think what is going on is that not bookmarks, but both bookmarks and storage for that matter, but the 200 limit. I think what's going on, this might be a little technical. I think what's going on is that they are basically giving each item behind the scenes a ID, so some kind of number that they use internally to reference. Oh, he's picking up. When you pick up an item, you move to a ship. It doesn't say he picks up. What do I know? Collector input controller. He picks up item ID number, whatever. And in the storage, it probably has its own ID. And I guess in order to save space, they stored that in a tiny int. A tiny int is a way of storing a number. It's a single byte integer that can store numbers from 0 to 255.
Yeah. No,
and I think that's what's going on. I think they give it and that's why they're increasing it to 200. And I think the reason they not want to do more is, I don't know if it takes up too much space, but I was trying to do some math on it, and that's not, I don't think it's a space issue.
That's that thing where it goes 6, 8, 16, 32, 64,
hours of 2.
112, 256, whatever. So, but here's the thing. Why then wouldn't you have 255? Like, 200 doesn't even, it's like doesn't, it doesn't fit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. All right. And point 2 on the implementation of it, where you have it in Odyssey, but not in Horizons, but you have your player base jumping back and forth between the 2 modes. How does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. Good response. All right.
You heard it here, folks.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I swear, I'm laughing with you.
No, I get it. I just, the only thing I can come up with that they say is a server limitation, because the only other thing it can make sense is if they have some kind of super convoluted verification process around those modules. That means that if they have more than 200 modules, the load time to load up the outfitting UI is going to be 2 hours.
Okay.
I don't know. It could be something like that, but if that's the case, then
how bad are their servers?
Then how bad are their code then?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, the servers are Amazon. There's nothing wrong with those.
Well, no. I don't mean their server. I mean their architecture for access. I'm saying what you're saying. Just I'm an idiot. I'm saying their code. Yeah. Okay. So how about we start with in the cast when we start with Roy. Tell us your thoughts on this issue.
Yeah, you've touched on several of the things I was going to mention, but I just to extend it a bit. I mean, it's either bad news that somehow they've programmed this thing with an 8-bit integer, or wow, I wonder if it really is a server limitation. Is this another consequence of, we had speculated some time ago that the engine overhaul, the Cobra engine overhaul that was hinted at in the investor update
failed
a year ago failed. And is that another consequence of this? Because you'd think if you were doing anything to refresh any of that, you wouldn't be limited by this. So this just may be another consequence of that. As far as bookmarks versus the server limitation, it feels like I mean, if it wasn't a server limitation, I could see a gameplay reason for having a bit more of a restriction on how many modules you want to store. But bookmarks doesn't make any sense. Like that just feels like bookmarks should be practically infinite, really.
Infinite, as Spock would say, infinite design and infinite variation. It should be. We could not only have unlimited bookmarks, but organize them in however many folders we want in any system that we want.
Yeah, those two feel fundamentally different, and it's weird that they're being tied together as 200 each.
Yep, 100%. Tweet.
Yeah, again, I don't want to say too much. I was told if I don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything.
No. This is the time where you can actually say it. This is it.
Well, I get it's a code thing, it's a server thing, but I can't help but feel, as a console player on Elite mostly, I mean, I have it on PC now, but a lot of my friends are on console, and this is just another example of, okay, Odyssey's going to get something that we've been asking for 5 years now, but you guys aren't gonna, so you just keep playing the same crap you've been playing forever now. It's frustrating, is what it is. It's frustrating, and it's turning a lot of people off.
I hear you, brother. And with regard to the idea of, like, well, I guess you have a different viewpoint on that whole Odyssey versus Horizon thing, because you're like, I never had the option.
Right. No option at all. It's all Horizon, so.
Yeah. All right. And Wolf.
Do I get to be not nice for a second? Because I kind of want to rage about the numbers thing.
Dude, this is the discussion topic. Go for
it. It's a fucking list. You've given us 2 bytes, basically. FF is 0 to 255. That's the max space. So, the fuck are you doing? It's an index list. Fix your shit. The other one is, if I want to get grade 5 mats, because I decided I want to engineer something, and I make all my modules, and I fill out the 200, well, when I go back to Horizons, okay, maybe I just can't see the rest of them. That's interesting. But if I go back to Horizons and I fill up on my crystal shard mats and I come back to Odyssey and they're not there, I'm gonna set fire to things.
I get it, brother. I get it. Astro, you had another thing on the bookmarks?
Yeah, I was just thinking if there could be some completely, like, that the server thing is an excuse. I mean, I think it's a nice quality of life upgrade. But I'm wondering, because if we look back, I think I recall they at some point they increased it from 100 to 120, right?
Yes, they did.
Like years back now.
No. It was 60 to 120. They doubled it back then.
Was it 60 to? Okay, I thought we had to stop at 100 as well. Okay, it was 60 to 120, so they doubled it back then. I'm just really wondering why they're being so reluctant to not. I mean, if they actually have a server limitation, I have a hard time seeing what exactly it is. If it's an excuse and they have some other reasons, I don't see what it is. I mean, what are they afraid of? People just stockpiling modules? I don't see why that's an issue. But yeah,
part of the reason why I highlighted that in the question of the discussion topic is because, again, I just call bullshit on that. I don't believe that that's a server limitation. It doesn't make sense. This is a situation where kind of we've pulled back the curtain and we see the man behind it. We see that the Wizard of Oz is really just a schlubby dude in bad pants. And it's like, no, Your excuse doesn't make sense there. That
You assume
doesn't.
he's wearing pants.
That doesn't. That's not how servers would work. Like a server limit. If you said, "Hey, we can't go above 255 because it's 256, but one is 0, so really it's 2." Okay. That I kind of go, "What the fuck is up with your server code?"
On a Commodore 64.
But I get it. Yeah, like that. You're talking about Tandy to Commodore 64 days. Like, is this game? Are you playing this on a cassette on your side on the servers or what? But like, when it's so obvious a lie that's told to you straight faced, it's like, you don't even respect me to think that I'm smart enough to see that you're basically telling me, you're pissing on my leg and telling me it's raining. Like, no, that's not cool, man. AstroPub, you had something?
Okay. So this is someone who doesn't follow a ton of Elite, so but I do follow FDEV pretty closely because I know a couple of the games they do and that kind of thing. And I used to know several members of their community team back in the day. So one of the things that this may be wrong. I may be entirely off base here, but it feels like the reason why they're doing this only for Odyssey and not for previous updates is FDev seems to have this mentality of it's done, stamp it, move it, because they have other games that they're developing at the same time. Like I remembered, I follow Warhammer 40K and as for fun, and I remember there being a big announcement that FDev is making a Warhammer 40K game, and so I just kind of did a quick Google search, and the announcement, the trailer for the game is coming out this month by FDev. That's supposed to release next year. And on top of that, they've got Jurassic Park Evolution 2 coming out as well. So within FDev's mentality, I think the whole like push it to Odyssey is buy Odyssey. We're not going to do this for older backers. We're for older buyers. Buy the new expansion, get the new stuff.
And that thought would work if it weren't for the fact that their shit came out fucked up. So they're literally telling their people to hop back and forth between modes to work around.
It feels like there's a disconnect between marketing and the game developers.
100%.
It feels like that was a marketing decision to drop this in the new one to push sales, and then at the same time the developers like, but it's broken. We need to fix it. So.
All right, we're gonna skip Tweaked and go to Roy, then Wolf, then circle back to Tweak because I want to end on a nice thing, and he says he's got a nice thing. Go, Roy. Vent your spleen.
So as an explorer, who's dutifully working his way through how many hundreds of billions of stars are there again?
420 billion star systems plus.
Yeah, like come on. I'm gonna find some stuff, and yeah, the whole 200 thing. The 120 didn't work. I should be able to make as many bookmarks as a significant fraction of the number of systems I'm going to visit, really. Now, the only thing I thought, and you know what's really been, I think the reason that this hasn't been more crippling is this goes back to the whole thing about Elite really relies on third-party tools, right? So the reason why I'm not so hung up on bookmarks in my normal gameplay is I'm running every single tool. ED Discovery, ED Market Connector, ED Observatory. How was that other one? Anyway, the point is all these outside tools, ED Scout, that was the other one. All these other tools that if they didn't exist or if the functionality was in the game, I would probably be relying much more on not only my own bookmarks, but shared bookmarks with others.
100%. This is third-party apps to make it playable dangerous.
Right. And I guess if I was going to give any credence to it's a server limitation, then I would think that really the only bookmarks that would have a limitation are the ones that I want to be able to share with other people, because those have to go through the system. I should be able to have local bookmarks. I don't care to share my 100 million bookmarks of my weird stuff about exploring. I mean, if I do want to share it, fine, put a limit on it, 200, 2,000, 200,000, whatever. But there should be local ones that are as big as my hard drive. It shouldn't matter.
Like I said, Internet Explorer, 1991. You want to have 8 million bookmarks? Okay, if your hard drive's big enough, knock yourself off. Mazel tov. Wolf, I've seen what you put as your comment, and I'm not going to let you speak at this point because I'm afraid that Frontier will listen to you and follow what you say. Tweaked, you had a nice thing to say, and then we're going to close out Star Citizen or Elite.
Yeah, well, I booted up Odyssey for the first time the other day, and while I was mostly... Well, I was going to say, while I was mostly underwhelmed, and a lot of that is just because of how damn good Star Citizen is, I will say I was pleasantly surprised, at least walking around the stations, I'm getting 60 FPS everywhere I go. Now, I haven't been to a planet. I was going to take a shuttle down to a settlement, but the game crashed on me. But as far as FPS goes, it seems to be working quite well right now. And the music in the bars, that was kind of cool. I like that.
Nice. Okay. So
but I know the FPS was a big problem, and they've been working hard on it. And for me personally, everywhere I went was a steady 60. My next test will be getting down to a planet side and checking a settlement.
All right, AstroPub, and then we're closing out this segment.
No, this is just on more comment on Tweaked. Every time Tweak talks, I can hear the announcer for the ASOP terminals and Star Citizen in his background. So I know Tweaked is really into Star Citizen when you can hear him playing the game while he's on a podcast.
This is true. This is true. All right,
money, right?
All right.